U.S. mimics Japan's fertility crisis, and you can blame virginal men. So you take away all the good options men had, and then you blame them for not picking from any of the bad options you left them. That's right. Just like in Japan, the problem is entirely those selfish herbivore men refusing to Minecraft themselves for a society that hates them. They're doing the same thing here in the US. Is the problem that whammons have become so insufferable no man wants them? No. The problem is that men need to adapt to current year and want these undesirable whammons. That's the problem. Or better yet, how are you guys going to logic your way out of this one? Whammons keep complaining about the pay gap. They keep complaining about men out earning them. They start out earning men, and now they're immediately complaining about a lack of eligible bachelors, a lack of single men who make more money than them. What did you think would happen when you took those jobs from the men? Did you think they were just going to spawn new ones out of thin air? Now, experts warn that the U.S. may be following Japan's worrying population decline after the Asian nation state released new shocking data. Japan's National Institute of Population and Social Security Research, known as IPS. What an unfortunate acronym. You misspell that. Like you just switch up the first two letters and you got piss. Who thought this through? I'm just going to call it piss. Now, reasoning revealed that a third of whammons who are now 18 may never have chillins. The island country recorded a population of 126.15 million in current year -3, and that number is projected to fall to 87 million by, holy shit, current year plus 47? With rising cost of living, I don't think people feel they can afford to or comfortably say they want to have chillins, 23-year-old Anna Tanaka told Reuters. Well, you could also listen to TFM, because he's been pointing out that countries with less whammons empowerment, they never seem to have any issues with reproduction. There is a correlation between more whammons empowerment and whammons choosing to have less kids. You can't deny that. The birth rate has been declining for more than 4 decades as the desire for marriage and parenting has faded and financial worries have grown, the outlet reported. So are you going to fix the problem? Are you going to start making marriage more desirable for men? No, of course not. Well, let's just keep beating them. Yeah, let's keep whipping them. They'll come back. They're addicted to pussy, right? Miho Iwasawa, the PIS's director of population dynamics research, blamed the population decline on the fact that people were marrying later in life and having fewer children, or none at all. More families opting to have fewer children may create a cycle of smaller families. Man, at least on the male side, you could fix a lot of this by giving men basic protections from being screwed over in divorce courts. But no, you don't want to do that, do you? You just want to keep giving more to women. That's going to be their solution to this, by the way. They're going to give more stuff to women to get women having more kids. No one's going to talk at all about what they could do to get men interested again. Parents who have fewer children are able to spend more on each child, increasing the average cost of raising a child, which deters more people from having children. Takuya Hoshino, senior economist at Daiichi Life Research Institute, explained to Reuters. As Japan looks to incentivize population growth, Japan, you've put out more than a few hentai that will demonstrate how you could fix this population decline. There's quite a few hentai manga, anime, and video games that tell you exactly what you need to do if you really want to fix this problem. Experts warn that the U.S. is experiencing a similar cultural shift that's leading to a continued population decline. Data from the U.S. Census Bureau showed that the population grew just 0.4% in current year -2 or -1. Oh, obviously the solution is more immigrants. Let's just import more foreigners. That's the one thing that we're doing that Japan is not. I'm sure nothing could go wrong. I mean, it will be better than going the Japan route, right? Yeah, let's keep doubling down on it. What could go wrong? Yeah, let's also keep doubling down on women's empowerment issues too. An increase from current year -2, but much lower amount every other year of the past few hundred years. The number of births in the U.S. has continued to decline for decades, as nearly half of American women under 45 are currently childless. The number of biological fathers in the same age range also dipped. I'm willing to bet the number of biological fathers dipped a lot more than mothers, because it's probably like the same top 10% of guys that are screwing all these women. Some attribute this to the fact that Americans are choosing to marry later or not at all. Well, maybe if marriage wasn't something that guys have noticed that should be avoided, why don't you make it worth the guy's time? Maybe we could walk this back. Now, the median age for getting married for the first time has increased over the past 50 years, from 23 years old in 1970 to about 30 in current year -2 for men, and from 21 in 1970 to 28 in current year -2 for women's. I'm surprised it's still that low. Yeah, we're going to have to rocket that up. It's going to have to be like 50 here in the near future. Man, on top of that, a record number of 40-year-olds in the U.S. have never been married, and most of them are living alone. Well, look, as someone who's living alone, once you do, you can't go back, at least not easily. And people always say the same thing. Oh, well, you just need to find the right person or the right roommate that you could really get along with. Look, it's not about that. It's not about how well you get along with the people you live with. It's like, when you don't live with anyone else, when you live alone, you don't have to worry about anyone else's like crap. You don't have to worry about anyone else's schedule. You don't have to worry about what anyone else is doing at any given time. You don't have to like watch the noise because of other people trying to sleep. Like, you just don't have to worry about dealing with other people. It doesn't matter how well you normally get along with them. Like, it's the same thing like when you go on a vacation. If you go on a vacation alone, you can do whatever you want, when you want. You could go see what you want. You could even stay out until 3 a.m. doing what you want, because you don't have anyone pestering you to get up at 5 a.m. to go to the next place they want to see that you may not be interested in. It's that simple. You're able to focus on doing only what you want when you want. And even if someone that you get along with like fully moves in, you lose that. And a staggering 21% of millennials and 7% of Gen Z are not planning to get married. That number among Gen Z, that's going to grow. It's 7% now. It's going to get higher. I could guarantee you that. And with the majority saying they're simply uninterested in marriage, according to a study conducted by a thriving center of psychology. This marks a new peak in a decades-long trend. Advancements in egg freezing and fertility treatments have allowed women to delay childbearing and remain single, but the quieting of their ticking biological clock has also allowed them to build fulfilling lives and conclude that they don't want children. Yeah, that or sometimes they do want they figure out they do want children, but it's too late anyway. We covered so many stories right here on this channel about women who froze their eggs thinking they could hold off until they're 50, and then all the eggs were duds. And then, like, I've personally known women, and I've brought this up so many times. I've personally known women who have had multiple abortions throughout their lives. And then by the time they hit like 40, they decide they're ready to settle down and have kids, except now they're barren. Now they can't have kids anymore. The kids they could have had, they Minecrafted. And now they're ready. Now they can have kids. But nope, now you got no eggs. And I see how that gets to them, because they know damn well they could have had multiple kids had they done things differently. They were started. A Match.com survey found a 19% dip in singles under 40 who said it was important to have a partner who wanted to have kids compared to current year -6. The decreased interest in having children was most pronounced among women, so only 56% now saying it's important to find a partner who wants children, according to the research. Man, most of the men on these dating sites are really only in it for the hookups. You know that, right? Younger generations have become particularly disinterested in childbearing, with 37% of non-parents younger than 40 revealing it's not too likely or not likely at all they'll have children someday. And of those planning to remain childless, the majority, 60%, say they simply don't want to become parents. Can you blame them? Seeing what how the government will keep interfering and prevent you from even raising that kid, and then punish you for the kid ending up wrong. Those who want children are choosing to do it later and have smaller families. Another study from the Pew Research Center reported in current year -2, the average mother had her first kid when she was 27.3 years old, up from 25.6 in current year -12. And those who did give birth had an average of 2 children in current year -3, which is much smaller compared to the average of over 3 in the late 1970s. Are you slowly starting to imply that the 50s were the best era? Are we going to get back to the 50s at some point? Other experts have also attributed the declining birth rate to women's earning higher degrees in income, obtaining greater and longer career paths, changing family values, financial concerns, improved access to contraception, relationship instability, and climate concerns. The list goes on. A lot of it's natural selection, so it's no big deal. The challenge is that no single cause could be identified for the declining birth rate, the PIS director said. No one even wants to consider that maybe there's less kids because there's less men that want to have kids as well. It doesn't matter if these women want kids if no man is willing to do the deed with them. That is one thing that they always completely ignore. Look, they even in the title, they didn't really go into it in the article itself, but in the title, they say you can blame virginal men. Yeah, blame those incels. They're the reason that women are making bad choices and not having kids. Yeah, it's men's fault. So instead of maybe considering that it's because you keep mistreating men that this keeps happening, you don't even want to think about that, do you? Yeah. No, it's always men's fault. Yeah. So women have no agency in any of this. They're just innocent victims. It's the evil men that do it. So you know what the solution to this obviously is? Let's keep demonizing men. Let's keep removing their outlets. Get rid of all of men's bread in circuses and force them back to the plantation, which will work. They will come back to the plantation, but whether it's going to be to work or to burn it down, you'll have to wait and see.